formal salutations, I would like to invite Ms. Althea Wiggins, Prime Minister's Special Envoy to Suriname and Guyana, to give you the official welcome.
Good morning to everyone. It's good to see a lovely crowd here today. On behalf of the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley, and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable Kerry Simmons, it is an honor and a privilege to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed delegates from Venezuela, Suriname, Guyana, Cuba, and Brazil. And I'm going to point out the persons who are here in this welcome. First of all, I would like to welcome our ambassador in Venezuela, who is here with us today, Ambassador Commander Aquinas Clark. We also have from Brazil, our ambassador in Brazil, Ambassador Tonika Seeley Thompson. Cuba's ambassador to Barbados, Janet Stables Cardenas. Our guest, His Excellency Mr. Expedito Neto, representing the President Lula of Brazil, and he's from the federal government of Brazil. And next to him, we have Mr. Hilton Shafia Aruja, and he's the Federal Superintendent in the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture in Roraima. From the state of Roraima, we have Mr. Marcio Clayton Aruja Canjero, representing he's representing the Governor of Roraima, Governor Antonio Denarium. Thank you. Also, we have the Embrapa Agency and Dr. Edvan Alves Chagas. He's representing Embrapa, and he's from the state of Roraima. And in terms of our visitors, we have Mr. Emerson Bau, who is the Executive Director of SEBRE, and he will come and give you one of the speeches. He will talk to you about what SEBRE is and so on. And from Barbados, we are pleased to have from the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. James Clark. He's the president of the Chamber of Commerce. From CARICOM, because when I was in Brazil, they have expressed an interest in what's happening in CARICOM. They want to do trading with CARICOM. So we have asked the CARICOM Secretariat to be represented today, and they're represented by Mr. Leo Preville. And last, but by no means least, we have our esteemed governor of our Central Bank of Barbados, Dr. Kevin Greenidge. And you will be able to have a question and answer session with these guys. So I want to say here that your presence here today signifies the deepening of our diplomatic and trade ties and the commitment to fostering stronger partnerships within the region, South and Latin America. As we gather to engage in fruitful discussions and exchange ideas, we recognize the importance of collaboration in addressing shared challenges and pursuing common goals. Each of our nations bring unique perspectives, experiences, and contributions to the table, enriching our dialogue and enhancing our collective efforts towards sustainable development, regional stability, and prosperity of all our citizens. We look forward to a productive deliberations and meaningful interactions that will not only strengthen the bonds of friendship and cooperation among our countries, but also pave the way for a brighter future for generations to come. Once again, we, the government of Barbados, extend a hearty welcome to each and every one of you, and may our time together be marked by mutual respect, understanding, and solidarity. I thank you.
Once again, thank you very much, Ms. Alfio Wiggins. At this time, we're going to ask Mr. James Clark, President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to give some opening remarks. James?
Thank you, Kay. Well, protocol having been established, visiting dignitaries, esteemed guests, fellow participants, ladies and gentlemen, buenos dias, bom dia, guten morgen, morning, as we would say in Barbados. Today, as we gather at the business-to-business meetings for AgriFest 2024, it is my great honor to address the topic of paramount importance, the intricate dynamics of trade and business within Latin America and the Caribbean, or LATAM-C, if you like acronyms, and its profound implications for Barbados. So let us embark on a journey into the realm of trade and business, where the boundless potential of stronger regional trade within Latin America and the Caribbean beckons. This realm offers a myriad of opportunities for all of us to flourish and thrive. By tapping into these markets, we can expand our export horizons, diversify our product and service offerings, and assert greater influence on the regional and global stage. Moreover, the ripple effects of increased trade extend far beyond economic metrics, permeating into the very fabric of our society. Economic growth, job creation, and innovation are the pillars upon which our future prosperity stands. While existing initiatives like CARICOM have laid a sturdy foundation, further enhancements are imperative to fully harness the potential that lies within our grasp. However, amidst the landscape of opportunities, we do encounter formidable challenges that threaten to impede our progress. High shipping costs are one, and they loom as a formidable barrier, casting a shadow over our competitiveness in the global marketplace. Yet, in the face of adversity, we find resilience and determination. Investments in regional maritime infrastructure and strategic partnerships with shipping and logistics companies emerge as signals of hope, illuminating the path towards affordable shipping. And by lowering our shipping costs, we can pave the way for a more cost-effective and accessible trade landscape, thereby unlocking new vistas of economic growth and prosperity for the region. And if you needed any more convincing of that, the ongoing issues with the Panama and Suez canals reinforce the need to develop our intra-regional Atlantic Basin trade all the more. The impact of enhanced trade and affordable shipping reverberates throughout our society, touching the lives of every citizen. It holds the promise of transforming our economy, ushering in an era of unparalleled opportunity and prosperity. By diversifying our economic landscape and reducing our reliance on traditional sectors such as tourism, we can fortify our resilience against global uncertainties and challenges. Moreover, the ripple effects extend beyond economic realms, fostering social cohesion and cultural enrichment within our communities. Yet amidst the promise of prosperity, we confront a myriad of challenges that threaten to derail our aspirations. Complex regulations, limited financing, and infrastructure gaps loom as formidable obstacles on our path to progress. These challenges demand collective action and strategic interventions to ensure that every sector of our economy can fully participate and reap the benefits of regional trade. As we embark on our quest to explore the vast opportunities within Latin America and the Caribbean, We are greeted by a landscape teeming with potential. With a population of over 650 million people, LATAM-C beckons as a beacon of opportunity for businesses seeking to expand their horizons. Moreover, existing trade agreements and ongoing negotiations serve as catalysts, smoothing the path for regional trade by reducing tariffs and trade barriers. The region's diverse array of products and services offers fertile ground for innovation, entrepreneurship, and investment, creating an array of possibilities waiting to be integrated into our collective prosperity. As we navigate the intricate pathways of regional trade, the importance of harmonized standards emerges as an encouragement guiding our way forward. The absence of harmonized standards poses significant challenges, however, and these range from increased compliance costs to delays in customs clearance. However, in the face of adversity, we find opportunity. Harmonized standards offer a viable solution, promising reduced compliance costs, faster customs clearance, and expanded market access. Fortunately, there are several initiatives already established or underway to promote harmonization within the region. For example, Mercosur technical regulations, the CARICOM regional standards, and the Pan American Standards Commission, better known as COPAN, to create a more seamless and efficient trade environment within the region. Furthermore, the establishment of a central repository for trade information within LATAM-C also holds immense promise. Such a repository could serve as an institution of knowledge, breaking down information barriers, streamlining trade processes, and empowering businesses, particularly our MSMEs. While the realization of this vision presents challenges, collaborative efforts and innovation solutions can pave the way for a more connected and informed LATAM-C trade environment, propelling us towards our shared goals of prosperity and progress. And if this may sound like a pipe dream, these platforms already exist in Africa, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Platforms such as the MANSA platform from the Afrexim Bank, the PAP system, Pan American Payment and Settlement System, and ATEX, which is Africa's B2B and B2G marketplace. These are existing structures and platforms which we would do well to either join or emulate. Additionally, in our quest for prosperity, knowledge transfer and joint ventures emerge as indispensable tools, fueling innovation, collaboration, and economic growth within LATAM-C. Strategies for knowledge transfer abound, from educational exchange programs to online resources, offering avenues for the exchange of expertise and best practices across borders, while we learn about our diverse cultures and languages. Similarly, joint ventures offer opportunities for collaborative ventures between public and private entities, fostering partnerships and leveraging collective strengths to tackle the challenges that lie ahead. In pursuit of the Caribbean Private Sector Organization's 20 by 2025 initiative to reduce extra-regional agri-food imports by 25% by the year 2025, the prospect of including our neighbors in Central and South America in Caribbean trade emerges as a pivotal consideration. Their formidable economies and substantial populations offer the potential to significantly bolster the Caribbean's trade volume and market reach, and could play a vital role in the success of the 20 by 2025 initiative. In conclusion, as we navigate the intricate pathways of regional trade, the potential benefits of capitalizing on the inclusion of Latin America and South America in trade endeavors for Barbados and the wider Caribbean are vast and profound. By harnessing regional trade opportunities, harmonizing standards, establishing central repositories for trade information, and fostering knowledge transfer and joint ventures, we can chart a course towards sustainable economic growth and prosperity for all of us. I thank you.
Thank you very much, James. Before we go to the other speakers that are on the platform, we thought it a good thing for you to hear from of the institutions that have actually come to visit us here today from Sibera and in Brapa. So first, I would like to ask Mr. Emerson Bawu, who is the Executive Director of Sibera, and who have actually brought a contingent, leading a contingent of 24 members. Sibera is like Export Barbados, Invest Barbados, Barbados Coalition of Service Industries, Barbados Chamber of Commerce, all roped into one. So he has a very high set of responsibilities and representing the private sector businesses of the state of Roraima. So Emerson, welcome.
Bom dia a todos. Muito feliz de estar aqui nesse momento.
Tio.
Ok. Bom dia a todos.
Good morning, everyone.
Em nome do SEBRAE, agradecemos o convite do governo de Barbados para estar presente nesse grande momento de interação social e comercial, não apenas de Barbados, do
On
país.
behalf of SEBRAE, we would like to thank you, the government of Barbados, for the invitation to be here for such a great moment to get among with other commercial wings of CARICOM, not only Barbados, but other countries.
O SEBRAE é uma organização que existe nos 27 estados do Brasil.
SEBRAE is an organization that exists in all 27 states of Brazil.
E tem por foco o fortalecimento do desenvolvimento empreendedor, em especial dos pequenos negócios.
And the main goal of SEBRAE is to encourage the entrepreneurship, especially the small business.
Atuando no fortalecimento do foco da melhoria da gestão dos negócios,
Dedicating to teach how to get a better
management,
I'm sorry.
gestão,
The better management of the business.
inovação,
Innovation,
buscar com isso agregando novos valores à produção,
and adding new values to the production.
e o fortalecimento de acesso a mercados.
And reinforcing the access of new markets.
E nessa terceira linha de atuação é que nós estamos presentes nesse momento em Barbados com uma comissão de 22 pessoas, entre produtores, empresários e representações institucionais.
And having the major focus on the third line, which is reinforcing the perspective of new markets, that's why they are here.
Entre dos trabalhos de mercado está a internacionalização de negócios de Roraima.
In one of the goal is the internationalization of the commercial business of Roraima.
E dentro do nosso planejamento da instituição, atuamos em cadeias produtivas estratégicas.
And in the work of the organization, they also work in the getting a better just a minute, to straighten the production of chains in the commercial area.
Porque através dessas cadeias produtivas conseguimos girar a roda da economia.
Because it's from the production chains that we can rotate the economy.
Roraima sempre foi estado que olhou o seu mercado de maneira muito pequena.
Roraima is a state that always looked to the commercial sector in a very small way.
Porque nos separa do Brasil, nós temos nos separando do Brasil uma Amazônia.
Because Roraima is separate from the rest of Brazil because of the Amazonia forest.
E nos últimos anos o governo do estado vem atuando fortemente para que nós olharmos de maneira estratégica o mercado da Guiana e do CARICOM.
And the past years, the government of Roraima is encouraging to let the business people to see it in an international way, to try to make the business international now from in Guyana, CARICOM, other countries that is around Roraima or near Roraima.
Entre os produtores que estão presentes na nossa missão empresarial,
In our delegation, we have the business that we have are
nós temos carne bovina,
we have beef cattle,
mel,
honey producers,
peixe, em especial tambaqui,
fish farmers, especially tambaqui,
frutas,
fresh food as fruits and vegetables,
com produção local e também a possibilidade de trazer de outros estados do Brasil.
local producers, and also distributors that brings from other state of Brazil.
Distribuição de alimentos
Food distributor
e água.
and water.
Nesse sentido, para finalizar a fala, mais uma vez reforço o agradecimento
I would like to reinforce the gratitude that we have,
e que estrategicamente acreditamos que esse momento é um momento que damos um grande passo para o estreitamento das relações comerciais entre Roraima, Barbados e o restante do CARICOM.
and is strategically saying we see that it's a very important step to move forward to new negotiations between Roraima and Barbados and CARICOM countries.
Obrigado a todos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emerson. I would now like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Marcio Grangeiro, to give a few remarks.
Bom dia a todos. Gostaria aqui de agradecer a senhora
Good morning. Good morning to all of you. I would like to thank
Tonica Thompson,
Ms. Tanika Thompson,
senhora Alfeia Wings,
Ms. Alfea
pelo
Wiggins.
convite, né? Trago aqui um especial abraço do governador Antônio Denário,
I'm here with the greetings for Antonio Denario, Governor of Roraima State in Brazil.
e na oportunidade já deixo o convite que ele fez para que todos possam visitar Roraima.
And in this opportunity, I want to bring his invitation for all of you to visit Roraima in Brazil.
Saúdo aqui o senhor André de Paula, representante do nosso governo nacional,
He's greeting
Secretário
André
Nacional da
Paula
Pesca,
from Brazil
o Wilton Xavier, superintendente da pesca em Roraima,
and Nilton Xavier from the fishing in Roraima.
E os demais da comitiva de Roraima que nos acompanham nesta missão.
And all of the people of the committee from Roraima, they are here in this mission with us.
Roraima é um estado produtor de alimentos.
Roraima is a state that has food production.
É o Brasil no extremo norte.
It's the extreme north in Brazil.
Temos uma população aproximada de 680 mil pessoas, numa área de 22,4 milhões de hectares.
We have a population of 680,000 people, and we have 44 millions of acres of production there.
Somos um estado produtor de alimentos, como bem falou aqui o nosso representante do SEBRAE. Produzimos grãos, carne,
We have a production of food. We're a state of food production, as Emerson Bowles said. We produce grains,
carnes,
beef
frutas,
cattle,
mel,
fruits,
peixe,
honey.
né? Temos potencialidades turísticas, observação de pássaros,
We have
pesca
potential for the
esportiva,
tourism, birds observation,
negócios
business,
e ecológicos. São o nosso potencial turismo.
eco-business.
Como foi falado aqui, nossa comitiva, temos produtores,
As it was
né,
said, we have here in
representantes
our committee
comerciais,
producers,
supermercadistas,
we have people from supermarkets,
atacadistas,
wholesale supermarkets,
representantes de cooperativas de produtores,
cooperative representatives from farmers in Brazil,
frigoríficos,
frigorifics, people from cattle.
Roraima, nos últimos anos,
Roraima in the
avançou
last
muito
years
nos
really
negócios,
advanced in the
dado
business.
todo trabalho realizado pelo governo do estado de Roraima,
For all the work that was made for the Roraima state in Brazil.
visando estruturar plano de desenvolvimento a longo prazo para que os negócios sejam duradouros.
Because we wanted to make business for all of the generations and all of the time.
Para isso, nós buscamos fortalecer, né, negócios já existentes, fazer a conexão com mercados globais e
For that, we wanted to strengthen all of the business that already exists in Roraima and
a conexão com mercados globais
make connections with the global market.
e impulsionar economicamente e ambientalmente o nosso estado.
We want to grow our state in the economic position and obviously the environment position.
Com todo esse trabalho realizado nos últimos 5 anos, nós pudemos ter saldo da nossa balança comercial positiva.
And we have a positive growth in the last 5 years in our state,
Onde nós tivemos como principal parceiro levando 52% da nossa exportação
where we
o
have
nosso vizinho país da
52%
Venezuela,
of our exportation.
exportação.
De quem? 52% of our exportation were
Destino
to Venezuela,
destino.
were destinated to Venezuela,
Mas também atingimos diversos outros países do mundo.
and we also went to other countries in the world.
Nossa principal pauta de exportação é a soja,
Our main exportation product is the soy,
representando 53%.
and it represents 53% of all of our exportation.
Mas também exportamos resíduos, óleo de soja, resíduos de soja, resíduos de óleo de
But we
soja,
also produce and we also export soy,
extrato de malte,
oil,
margarina,
olive oil,
açúcares,
margarines,
embutidos, são enchidos, sabão,
and products that are from soil, soap.
ok? O governo do estado de Roraima fica muito feliz pelo convite. Nós realmente precisamos estreitar relações, como foi bem aqui colocado, com todos os países do CARICOM.
The Roraima government is really happy for being here because we really need to have a connection with all of the countries from CARICOM, the Caribbean.
Estamos muito próximos, já temos uma grande relação com a Venezuela. Estamos a pouco mais de 600 quilômetros do porto da Guyana.
So we have,
Já temos grande
because we
comércio.
already have a connection and we are really close to each other. So we have a proximity to Venezuela. We're near from the Guyanese port,
De onde teremos a capacidade de atingir todo o CARICOM.
where from there we want to go to all of the countries of CARICOM.
Roraima hoje se destaca não só pela produção, mas pela produtividade, pela qualidade dos alimentos ali produzidos.
Because one of the things that we have in Roraima is not only the production, but the quality of our products.
Nós temos o nosso arroz de excelente qualidade, o nosso pescado, o nosso mel orgânico,
Our honey, our fishing, and our rice production are all with quality.
a nossa carne de excelente qualidade, produzida a pasto,
Our beef cattle with quality produced in Roraima is all with quality.
dentro de todo o trabalho do governo do estado. Dos grandes trabalhos vem sendo realizado dentro do nosso distrito industrial, onde nós estamos fortalecendo as indústrias e agroindústrias que ali estão.
Okay. Whereas getting strong, our production, our industrial production is getting really strong, and the government of Roraima is really doing it so we can get further with that.
E tudo isso para que nós possamos estar fazendo bons negócios com todos os nossos países vizinhos.
And all of that is for us to make good business with our neighborhoods, with our neighbors, country neighbors.
Roraima está à disposição para todos esses países para ajudar e contribuir para que possamos superar todos os obstáculos aqui colocados anteriormente.
And we're open to integrate and have conversations with all of you, all of the countries that are here, so we can make business with you.
Ficamos felizes mais uma vez pelo convite, agradecemos a oportunidade e nos colocamos à disposição de todos para recebê-los muito em breve em nosso estado.
So here's an invitation for all of you to go for our state, and we're really happy for the invitation for being here in your country.
E aqui eu gostaria que todos da nossa delegação levantassem para que nós pudéssemos ser vistos por todos que estão aqui presentes.
It's just saying to people to get up from our delegation.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. Given some time constraints that we have, we are going to shift the agenda a little bit, and we're going to go straight to our feature speaker today, who really needs no introduction to the local team, but I would introduce him to our visitors. Dr. Kevin Greenidge is the governor. It is the 8th governor, right, Kevin? 8th governor? Of the Central Bank of Barbados, and he will be giving you a presentation on Barbados ripe for investment at this time. Kevin, welcome.
Good morning. Mr. James Clark, President of the Chamber of Commerce, Ambassador Leo Preville, Director of CSME and the Single Economy Unit, Captains of Industry, members of the Chambers of Commerce and Private Sector Association, overseas attendees, members in media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As Kia Greenidge indicated, I have a hard stop by 11:15. I have to go to another meeting, and I want to leave time for questions. I've been invited here, and it's my honor to be here, to really give you some local context as investors in terms of what we have to offer, how the economy is doing, so you have a flavor as to why we are such a right place for investment. And so I will do that straight away. My presentation really is to give you some context in the economic environment, the economic landscape, our current performance, outlook, and perhaps just mention one or two areas where we see right for investment. And that will then lead off to a discussion, I hope. I don't know if you can see it there. Good. I certainly can't see down there. We've always had in Barbados, as a small island, a very strong competitive business environment. In fact, when we look at the world governance indicators, you will see that Barbados, in terms of the Latin American Caribbean region, not only have a high per capita GDP, ranked 71st globally on one of the highest in the region in terms of Human Development Index, but also very high, above 90 percentile in many areas, the areas which matters for investment, such as political stability, absence of violence, lower level of corruption. These are things that matters as investors, you will know, are important to where you want to go. In fact, the last report, which is the 2023 Corruption Perception Index, placed Barbados as 24th least corrupt country in the world, out of 180 something, and the highest and the lowest in the Latin American, Central America, Caribbean region. So you're coming to a country with stability, rule of government, rule of law prevails, and where business environment thrives. Now, competitiveness, we're also very competitive. In fact, if you look at the global competitive index, we are again higher than the Latin American Caribbean average. I wonder if this works. Higher than the Latin American Caribbean average, but also we rank highest in the region in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the efficiency of our labor market, which is represented by the level of education and skill levels among the population. Our institutional structure is very strong. We have technological readiness, that index very high, and even though, as you say, we're a very small country. So very competitive. I know we are working to even push our level of competitiveness even further, but very competitive. Now if I get down to the economy, oh my gosh. All right, you probably can't see the colors are not coming up, but I will walk you through it. That little box is saying that last year, our economy grew by 4.4%. Now that 4.4% is on top of the 13.5% growth in 2022. So collectively, you're looking what, 17 to 18% growth over a 2-year period. And that would have redounded to improving all the indicators. Our debt to GDP ratio remains stable and on a downward trajectory at 115% of GDP. And we anticipate, building our best projections or modest projections, that the economy will converge to 60% of GDP by 2022. Government has over the last 4 or 5 years ran a primary surplus, and I'm going to slow because I know some of you can't see those colors. So a primary surplus of, in the 2 years, or 1 year of 6%, previous year 3.5, last year another primary surplus. Now primary surplus, which shows the current operations of government's position, is what shows that the fiscal position is quite sustainable. At the same time, our reserves increased to 31.6% of, well, 31.6 weeks of import cover, around $3 billion. Labor market conditions remain good and the unemployment remain low, even though it edged up slightly. Our current account, external current account balance is improving, and this is coming from a COVID period where it will have worsened, so it's improving strongly. And the financial sector, in terms of non-performing loans, which are now the lowest in historical levels, and capital adequacy, which is kind of the highest, has improved tremendously. Or, as you know, Barbados' #1 economic activity is tourism, and that, on the first side, tourism, we have basically, in one market, surpassed our pre-COVID area performance, and in the other markets, which is US, CARICOM, we are just about 10% under our pre-COVID level, but strong performance. Overall, Tourist arrivals to Barbados grew last year by just above 18%. And in some cases, we had 50% growth in CARICOM year on year, and so growth across tourism. But it's not just tourism. This chart on the right shows broad-based growth on all sectors. You see for the two bars at the end, above the zero line, so broad-based growth means all sectors are contributing to the economic expansion in Barbados. Agriculture, even though some areas were affected by the extreme weather conditions, and we're all facing those, we still had a strong output in agriculture, we had a strong output in manufacturing, construction, and all the others. So it's broad-based growth. You see the 13.8 I mentioned the year before, 2022, and now 4.4%. And so if I look at the economy, our economy is back at least to the size it was in 2019. And from here on now, it is solidifying this growth, and we expect, with the projected level of investment that we're getting, that the economy will continue to grow by 4 to 4.5%. Our employment rate remains historically low. In the corner, the blue is the rate right now projected back at 8.1% at the end of September. It remains one of the lowest we had on record, and that shows the expansion capacity of the economy. In terms of inflation, we had a rising acceleration of prices during the COVID period because of the issues mentioned earlier, bottlenecks in terms of distribution, supply chains, etc. Inflation has eased to about 5.2% by the end of last year. What keeps it elevated is the continued expansion in economy, spurring aggregate demand in some areas, but also the extreme weather conditions affecting some of the local food crops, which increase those prices. But all in all, you can see the general downward trend in the inflation since COVID period, and our inflation, which tends to follow over the period, you see our inflation is consistent with what's in the region, but we tend to follow the United States inflation rate because our currency is pegged to their currency. And if you peg your rate to another currency, you import that level of inflation. 75% of the inflation in Barbados is imported. So as prices start to ease, we start to see those benefits feeding through to the economy. So we expect, based on projections, that the inflation by this year will continue to abate. As I said, the foreign reserves remain healthy. Tourism continue to contribute about 40% of our reserves accumulation, but other sectors are also contributing, and also we have international development partners continue to play an important role in terms of helping to drive projects, etc., and that's contributing to our economic performance in terms of reserves. On the fiscal, it's difficult. I hope you can see in this first slide, I show you that expenditures continue to be contained as a ratio of GDP, and capital expenditure is expanding as the government seeks to push the expansion in its investment program. At the same time, on the right side, it's difficult to see, but I will explain. The improvement in the economy is continue to improve the tax basis that relates to that, like VAT and import taxes, etc. And consequently, government continues to run a primary surplus, which is important as it continues to pay down the debt and keep debt on a downward and stable trajectory. Our financial system is very healthy. We have liquidity way above the prudential ratios. In fact, in terms of the banking system, we have about at least $3 billion excess liquidity for a small system, cash liquidity. Both finance houses and non-finance houses remain quite liquid. And our non-performing loans, as persons continue to repay. In fact, we have met with banks recently. They're saying that persons are paying back faster than they can make new loans. And this reflects the confidence and the continued liquidity that persons are seeing improvement in their disposable income as the economy continues to expand. In terms of the outlook, as I say, we expect the economy will continue to grow this year by 4%, roughly. Now, Yes, they've been slowing in some our major markets, but given that we have the World Cup cricket in the first half of this year and the continued investment, we expect 40%. Into the medium term, we've projected between 4 to 5%, predicated on a pickup in investment. Specifically, we are expecting that private sector investment, foreign direct investment, both of those will double between now and annually going forward. And this is why this forum is so important. And at the same time, government continues to step up their part by increasing. If you look at the fiscal estimates, you see at least the government doubling its investment, because that's how we're going to get the growth that is needed. And on the inflationary side, as I say, most of it is imported inflation, and so we're expecting that will follow international trends, but at the same time, we continue to ease as the economy expand, and as we continue to improve in terms of, well, our agricultural output, etc. To reiterate, the both fiscal and position and the debt position remains sustainable, with debt in particularly on a downward trajectory, anchored at 60% by 2030, 35, 36. All the indicators point to that. And of course, there's risk on both sides. On the downside, it's slowing our partners. We've heard that you see UK start to slow a little bit. We built that into our projections. So a slowing of our growth in our trading partners can impact us. Continue high inflationary pressures, things like that. Any kind of related shocks which we're quite, like the rest of the world, exposed to. But of course, those were on the upside too. If they grow faster, we grow faster. If we get more investment than anticipated, we will continue to expand very quickly. If we will continue to work on our business environment, and if we can expand on the efficiencies in our public institutions, our business facilitation process, that also will increase our growth projections beyond what we know, what we're expecting. So those are a bit from the economic side. I did put one or two investment opportunities here. Not sure if you want me to go into those still. But some areas we're looking for, our growth strategy, we have our economic performance is governed by our Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, which is in its second phase. The first phase was supported by IMF program, and we successfully completed that. In fact, when you look at the IMF database and the reports, Barbados perhaps is the only country in the last decade that has successfully done that. And the reforms, over 35 different reform measures we put in place to strengthen the economy, strengthen the base. And then, but COVID set us back a bit, like with every country. Coming out of COVID, we revamped and rejigged the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, BERT 2.0, to focus on growth. Because in the first program, we attained fiscal sustainability and debt sustainability and strengthen our financial position. What we are trying to get in the second program is really economic growth. And to get that economic growth is predicated on, as I said, investment, and guess what? Investment. We need, when we look historically at what Barbados had done before, and this is not like new. In the early 2000s, we were growing. Our highest rates, we had investment about 21 to 24% of GDP. We are nowhere near that now. But confidence is coming back, as I spell out and show that there's the base, the environment is right for that.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so I gotta be careful now. Right, so BERT 2.0 focuses on growth. And I will tell you some of the areas: investment in climate resilience, the green transition, moving towards a carbon neutral economy, green transition, infrastructure, etc., just growing it, investment in low income houses and the housing, investment in skills and training to be able to accommodate that, investing in making Barbados a logistic hub for the rest of the Caribbean, improving productivity. These are kind of the 9 pillars on which the Barbados Economic Growth Program focuses on. The only thing I put on there is that as business people, you know, you don't like uncertainty. Investors don't like uncertainty. And we have done a number, well, first of all, our pay, which is the US dollars, has been since 1995. And against all shots of that, we have maintained that pay. Early in the early times in the early 90s, when it was under pressure, the population took a 8% wage salary cut to protect it. Recently now, we did a debt restructuring early to protect the exchange rate and serious fiscal consolidation. That is an anchor stability. As a young man as I am, in my early 20s now, you know that was all I know. That's for the recording, okay? So that's a stability of anchor. As an investor, you know that you don't have to worry about exchange costs because that's off the table. The other anchors of stability, as I say, is the price structure we have, but then also the environment which we're operating in. If I expand for some of those a bit more, tourism is a very ripe area for investment. Government during the COVID put in place the Barbados Employment Sustainability and Transformation Program, which allow hoteliers to expand their products and green their industry. That continues to be very viable, and private partnerships in there. So the hotel industry is and space is an area where investment is right. There's a number of aging plants, and there are a number of hotels. If you just drive along the coast, you'll see a lot of work happening. So not only in diversifying the area, but that's a very strong area and investment area. The capacity and strengthening that is also an investment area. We're looking at investment in cargo processing and making Barbados a logistic hub. Our geographical position is really key, and it is an advantage where we can now be a central point for agriculture projects both along the coast of Latin America and between Caribbean areas. On the table is right now the government is working to establish 2 hubs for Barbados, a regional logistic hub intended to be a transition point for supplies between the Caribbean area. But also we have the Barbados, Guyana, and Brazil proposed food terminal that I understand is still in the process of being set up. And that again will become a significant transshipment point and an area for investment. Other areas is the agriculture area, looking to make climate smart and regenerative tropical agriculture investments in that area, using private-public partnerships to deliver a national compost facility, soil health equipment, etc. Private partnership also to deliver fertilizer binding plant, and government has put a number of incentives in place to support that, etc. What else I can mention? The green transition, I mentioned that. We are still committed to becoming 100% into renewable energy by 2035 under the National Energy Policy Framework, and there are a number of areas in that, not only investment in hydrogen, but also solar, wind, waste energy. These are different areas, opportunities that I'm sure you will deliberate on and discuss during the day. Opportunities in bulk storage, also battery storage and renewable chemistry. These are areas outside of my purview, but in discussions, these are what we've been told on the table. Green transport is another area, and I'm sure you guys know much more of this than I. So, in conclusion, if I wrap up, this is the place to be if you're a serious investor. Barbados is, as I said, ripe for investment. Now is the time, and as I say, we provide the environment, we provide the space, and the economy is moving in that direction. So thank you very much, and that's it for now.
Thank you so very much, Governor. A very insightful presentation, bringing you down from the performance of our economy, why Barbados is actually a strong place for investment, and then giving you some insights into the opportunities that there are for investments at this time. The Governor would have mentioned some sectors. Things like fintech, he spoke about agro-processing, he spoke about renewable energy, whether it's wind, wave, hydrogen, and so what I'll do is just give you a little bit more insights on a couple other sectors. We have the ICT sector, the global education, we're also looking for investments in those sectors. Financial services, Barbados is number 6 in the world in terms of captive insurance market and captive insurance sector. And we are now creating or enhancing our film sector as well as our buyer-farmer sector. So lots of sectors and information, and to have discussions when we break out into our pods after the official part of today. So once again, thank you very much, Dr. Greenwich, a very insightful presentation. What I'd like to do at this time is to ask if there are any questions for Dr. Greenwich or any other member of the panel. Don't mind that Mr. Preville haven't spoken as yet. Please, there are microphones somewhere, I can't see from so far. But if there are any questions that you have, please at this time. I can't see from so far. Oh, that's better. Please ask a question.
Good morning. I don't speak English, excuse me. Na apresentação, muito boa a apresentação das informações sobre Barbados. Uma das coisas que me interessou foi a questão de transformar Barbados em um centro logístico. Poderia dar mais explicações das condições portuárias e tarifárias para operações e negócios, transformando como centro logístico Barbados, por favor?
Okay, so basically the question was he would like to have more information of how the logistic of the port and the taxes work to start working with Barbados. And the structure. So basically he would like to know the port structures that you guys have and the logistic, how it works, and the taxes.
So thank you very much for your question. In the breakout pods, we can provide some more information to you in terms of the port, how it works, and the taxes. If there is no one present in the room at that point in time in terms of one of our tax experts from our international business unit or from our Barbados Revenue Authority, we can always provide that information. And if possible, during your visit and time here on the ground, we can see if we can set up a meeting with you to have more conversations with the head of the port, etc. So please see one of the team from Invest Barbados. If you can wave your hand, Jillian, and at that back table for any specific information you may require, and we will provide same.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. There you go. The gentleman from the port gave him his card. See? We provide everything in Barbados. So, Dr. Greenwich, there seem to be no further questions for you at this time. Again, oh, sorry, the gentleman here, right here. Okay.
Yes, the presentation is available. My communications director, Noveline Brewster, is there. We will share it with both Invest Barbados and Prime Minister's office, and it'll be available. Yes, please.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Wendell Margaret, director of the company Paralab in Suriname. We are a fruit and vegetable processing company. And I would like to know if I would like to invest in Barbados to set up a new processing company. Can I get some more information in the breakup from a specialist from here? Yep, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And again, sir, obviously you see one of our team, Adrian or Gillian, who's sitting at the table at the end, and they will take you through the process in terms of setup, the service, what is required, the steps you have to go through, and to continue to work with you in terms of you setting up your business in Barbados. You're welcome. So again, I want to say thanks to Dr. Greenwich. I know he has to leave and a hard stop, and this is why we had the question and answer section before we invite the remainder of the speakers. Dr. Greenwich, again, thank you for a wonderful and a very interesting presentation. And again, give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
I would now like to invite His Excellency Expedito Neto, the National Secretary of Industrial, Amateur Sports and Fishing and advisor to the President, to give a few remarks.
Hi. I want to start by saying good morning to all ladies and gentlemen and all the auditors here today from the table and that are present here. On behalf of President Lula, it's an honor for me and the privilege to be here today participating in this business exchange, contacts and experience that we can all grow together. And this is very important to our countries, Venezuela, Suriname, Guyana, Cuba, Barbados, working together in one objective: grow the economy, to make things go right, to make things change in our countries for the best. I hope we can grow partnerships together, learning to each other, helping each other in a way that we always put people like the most important part of the economy. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you, His Excellency. And now I would like to ask Jesus Rodriguez Mendoza, Director General of the Institute of Investment for Industry, to just give some brief comments from Cuba.
Buenos días a todos. It's okay. ¿Me avisa? Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Es para nosotros un honor
For us, it's an honor
la participación de empresas cubanas
on the part of the Cuban enterprises
por primera vez en un evento tan importante
to
en
participate for
Barbados.
the first time in such an important event in Barbados.
A nombre del gobierno de Cuba,
On behalf of the government of Cuba,
agradecemos la invitación.
we would like to extend our appreciation for the invitation.
Nos acompañan en la delegación nuestra,
Our delegation is comprised of
estará representada por dos ministerios fundamentales,
two important ministries,
Ministerio de la Agricultura
the Ministry of Agriculture
y el Ministerio de la Industria Alimenticia.
and the ministry, the Food Industry Ministry,
Representando a 100 empresas,
representing
dedican-
siete empresas,
100 empresas
which represents 100 companies
que se dedican a la transformación de alimentos, a la producción de alimentos.
who dedicate themselves to the processing, food processing,
Y una empresa, la Biofan,
and another company called La Biofan. La Biofan,
que se encarga fundamentalmente en la producción de biopreparados
which looks after the preparation, bio preparation,
biopreparado. byproducts.
byproducts,
Yeah.
byproducts, yes,
Para la agricultura fundamentalmente.
for agriculture, basically.
Produce la producción de alimentos saludables,
The production, healthy foods production,
¿no? Y estas, a su vez, que tienen un impacto,
and
sobre
this
todo respetando el medio ambiente.
and this also looks at being friendly to the environment, creating a bio-friendly impact.
Ya. Para nosotros,
For us,
en esta visita,
on this visit,
como objetivo fundamental, tenemos, aprovechando
continue.
aprovechando la oportunidad que nos dan estrechar las relaciones
We want to take this opportunity to strengthen our relations
para fortalecer la integridad comercial
and to strengthen the trade integrity
dentro de los países del Caribe.
within the Caribbean countries.
Barbados puede contar
Barbados can count on
Cuba
Cuba
en el proceso de su desarrollo y crecimiento.
in its development and growth.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jesus. So we will now hear from Leo Prevel from the CSME unit of the CARICOM Secretariat, who will speak and address some issues on CARICOM and Brazil. Leo?
Thank you very much. Ambassadors, President of the Chamber of Barbados, Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Clark, ladies and gentlemen, investors all. I wish to express thanks to the government of Barbados for inviting the CARICOM Secretariat to be part of the opening ceremony for this business-to-business trade mission, which features countries that have a diverse set of trade arrangements among themselves. On the one hand, we have member states of CARICOM, or the CARICOM Single Market and Economy. We have Barbados, we have Guyana, we have Suriname here. Then we have Cuba and Venezuela, with whom CARICOM has bilateral trade arrangements. And then we have Brazil, with whom the member states of CARICOM engage through broader multilateral arrangements such as the WTO. I suppose, notwithstanding the formal trade arrangements, what seems to matter most is the fact that the governments and businesses and the business communities of the countries gathered here recognize the need for collaboration and cooperation to drive growth of their respective business communities and countries. And this therefore takes me to what the CSME is about and how the arrangements under this economic integration initiative are meant to support the very objectives that this group of countries gathered here in Barbados today is seeking to realize. The CSME, through the use of the 5 core regimes, the free movement of labor, capital, services, goods, and the exercise of the right of establishment among the member states, is meant to essentially leverage the collective resources of the community to build economic relationships and arrangements amongst ourselves. This in turn should lead to greater efficiency in the allocation of resources, drive investment to the desired areas, and build competitiveness of our firms and industries. We also anticipate that as our business community becomes more competitive, they will become more integrated in the global economy. It is through this process that we envisage the realization of growth at a pace which will lift the standard of living of the people of this region. Now, many have often questioned the validity and viability of this regional approach to development, as people understandably are anxious to see real change in their individual circumstances, and hence the time horizon for realization of the benefits of this economic integration arrangement may be immediate or short term. However, every objective assessment of the CSME continues to reveal that it presents the best option for the development of the Caribbean community. And this coming together of business people and government officials from both within and outside of the community here in Barbados provides evidence of the need to strengthen our regional integration efforts and hasten to implement all of its arrangements. With business people from Barbados, Guyana, and Suriname coming together and examining ways to do more business and infusing in that discussion business entities from Brazil, Cuba, Venezuela, the ground is being laid for investments into the community. Investments which I observe fit neatly with the priority areas agreed to at the level of heads of government of CARICOM. For instance, I know the significant interest in the area of agriculture. Investment in that sector will certainly advance the goals of food security and safety outlined in the 25 by 25 plan for agriculture in the region, which is being spearheaded by Guyana. Through this program, the region not only intends to reduce its food import bill by 25% by 2025, but also, importantly, to reduce its vulnerability to external shocks, as was experienced during the recent COVID-19 pandemic. Not only was the supply of food from traditional extra-regional sources disrupted, in some instances there were restrictions on imports, and invariably when supplies were available, the increase in price placed on those food products placed those products outside of the budgets of the people of the region. Investment in the agricultural sector will also place the community in a position to become an exporter. But the investments which may result from this meeting in Barbados will have positive implications beyond the participating countries gathered here. From a CSME perspective, the success of any member state of the community has potential benefit for all other member states through the regional interdependent framework that the CSME provides. Hence, the CARICOM Secretariat welcomes and encourages as many of these business missions as possible between CSME member states or between member states and any other third country. In that regard, the Caribbean community continues to update and consolidate its bilateral trade agreements. And as we do that, we have concluded a second protocol to the CARICOM-Cuba Trade and Economic Cooperation Agreement, which was signed in 2017. So once this second protocol enters into force, this will lead to expanded preferential market access into Cuba. The Secretariat understands that Belize, Jamaica, and Cuba have taken action to give effect to and take advantage of the additional preferential access under this agreement. The meeting today, or the meeting here today, where the captains of industry of Cuba are present, may provide even greater impetus for other CARICOM member states to take advantage of the CARICOM-Cuba Trade and Economic Cooperation Agreement. We also have a bilateral trade agreement with Venezuela. We hope that the presence of the delegation of the business community from Venezuela, along with the business community from the 3 CARICOM states, will galvanize action on both sides to modify the trade liberalization arrangements and rules of origin and widen the coverage of the agreement which exists between CARICOM and Venezuela. This was the course of action that was planned when the 2 parties last engaged each other in 2013. So there has been a hiatus. With or without a formal bilateral trade agreement between CARICOM and Brazil, the economic potential of Brazil is not lost on the community. With such a neighbor so physically close to the region, the presence of 30 of the most influential business entities from Brazil here in Barbados sends a very strong message that Brazil is ready to do business in the Caribbean. In fact, a more powerful message could not have been sent as the President of Brazil, His Excellency Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, will be the guest of CARICOM heads of government when the conference meets between the 25th and 28th of this month in Georgetown in Guyana. That's from Sunday next week. A better time there could not have been for Brazil's continued partnership with the region as the region emerges from the COVID-19 pandemic and recalibrates its trade strategy in support of economic development. Investment, as the governor just spoke, investment is critical to growth in all economic sectors of the region. So in closing, I wish to commend the government of Barbados and all who were instrumental in organizing this business-to-business engagement. Because after all the policy arrangements have been put in place by government, it is only when the private sector engages and utilizes the policies that the people of the community will truly see the benefits of the CSME and its relevance to their lives. I thank you.
Thank you so very much, Leo. Very insightful thoughts. You know, as I sat there, I went to say stand here, but it was actually sitting there, and listening to everyone that spoke today, one thing came to mind that's coming out of today's forum. Language is no longer a barrier. As I see persons coming to the podium speaking Portuguese and speaking Spanish, and we're around the room finding persons to interpret for the English speakers and vice versa, language is no longer a barrier. And that's a very powerful, powerful statement as we look to use the words that came from James, from Leo, and also from the governor of the central bank, as we look to have a greater collaboration between Latin America and the Caribbean, and to form these linkages in terms of doing business and trade. So again, thank you very much. So we've heard from many persons, from Cuba to Brazil, Barbados, myself, and so on. So to bring the morning's proceedings, this first part of the proceedings to a close, I would now like to invite the Executive Director of the Barbados International Business Association, commonly known for us as BIMA, Ms. Carmel Haynes, to give the closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, King. Buenos dias, bom dia, good morning, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to be up here this morning and to thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us. As Kay would have mentioned, my name is Carmel Haynes. I'm the Executive Director of BIBA, the Association for Global Business. By way of background, BIBA is also a member, like the Chamber, of the Barbados Private Sector Association, but our particular area is that we represent over 140 member firms that are multinational companies, primarily from Canada, the US, UK, Latin America, and covers a range of service areas, primarily banking and finance, wealth management, some pharmaceuticals, life sciences, fintech, logistics, construction. So it's a wide range of areas, but the commonality is that these are companies that have chosen to make Barbados home, or there are companies that represent, domestic companies that represent international clients. So we have a wide range of service providers. All of the big four accounting firms have membership in BIBA, the international banks, primarily the Canadian banks. So you'll understand that Barbados is really a very welcoming climate for investors. And we work very closely with Invest Barbados. BIBA actually sits on the board of Invest Barbados to ensure that we can help facilitate your entry into Barbados, that we can represent you while you are here, and to ensure that you really understand, as the governor outlined in his presentation, how to best capitalize on the various high-value comparative advantages that Barbados offers. So once again, I'm very happy to have been a part of this organization, of this B2B this morning, and it's just left to me to thank our presenters this morning. So once again, I'd like to recognize and thank Mr. James Clark, the President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, thank Dr. Kevin Greenidge in his absence, and also Mr. Preville. I would, of course, like to thank our dignitaries who attended this morning and represented on behalf of your various governments. First, I would like to thank, on our end, our ambassador, Mr. Kynus Clark, Barbados' ambassador to Venezuela, Ambassador Tonica Thompson, Barbados' ambassador to Brazil, Ambassador Yana Esteban Cardenas, Cuba's ambassador to Barbados, and of course, as always, our special envoy to Suriname and Guyana, Ms. Althea Wiggins, who has been, of course, instrumental in pulling today's proceedings together. I would also like to thank, for delivering remarks on behalf of the President of Brazil, His Excellency, Mr. Expedito Neto, and also thank and welcome Mr. Hilton Xavier de Arroyo, Federal Superintendent of the Ministry of Fisheries, Mr. Marcio Glayton Arroyo Granjero, Secretary of Agriculture, Mr. Edvan Alves Chagas, the General Head of Embrapa in Roima, Mr. Emerson Bao, Executive Director of Sabria, and also, as we would have heard today, from Director sorry, I forgot to actually make that note, the other director from Cuba. So I'm grateful again for your presence, and I would just like to now direct you. We are going to have a working break, which means that we're not going to have a formal break, but we are going to now separate into the various industrial areas that you would have come here this morning to interact on. So we have representation from agriculture, specifically beef farming, fish farming. We also have representation from the construction, distribution and retail industries, some other services. So we are asking if you can take the first 3 rows of the tables in the room. I'm sorry, maritime and shipping is also a very big contingent as well. So we're asking if now, as we go to break, you can separate into your various, as we're calling them, pods, based on the table, so you can start having discussions. Some of our attendants will also assist you at the back of the room. We have Janelle from PRMR Inc. We have Jillian and Adrian from Invest Barbados, and they can also assist in guiding you as to how you can segment and start these conversations, because we're really excited to see real business come out of this morning's session, and the only way that we can get to do that is for you to have actual conversations where you speak about, where the linkages are, how you can best facilitate each other, the removal of barriers, etc. And so thank you once again for coming this morning.
So ladies and gentlemen, as Caramel indicated, please proceed to have your break and to go into the pods that she outlined. Thank you very much. And gentlemen on the stage, James and Leo, we thank you very much also.
Sir, ¿cómo está? Estoy bien, ¿cómo está? Ahora sí te veo. Ah, sí, sí. Con Nelson. How are you, man? Tranquilo. Bonnet, no,
we traveled to 4 states. And then the last 2 classes she was not there. And she said you were a very hard man, so she don't know to come back because I don't know if you're going to kick over the class.
She can come. She has enough.
Speak Spanish, please. Both of you.
Hola. Muy bien, muy bien. Hi, sir.
Ahora entendí por qué tú eres
You are Paul. Yes, we have been communicating so often. And it's like we finally meet you.
Actually, I want to try pushing them programs again.
Exactly, which is why I approached you, because the partner you have there, Martha, has been doing some good work. And I wanted for you to connect.
We always connect.
Since you were on site, she can liaise with you.
She was supposed to come here.
I haven't seen her.
We always connect. We speak almost every week. Yeah, because I'm trying to. I got to meet with the Minister of Education. I got 2 ideas. I spoke to the Prime Minister here. I want to get English teachers and to come here and teach Spanish.
Gracias.
And our Spanish teachers are going to teach English in their school. The idea is that we're in the environment. So you teach your first language in the environment where you practice the second. And I want to do it for a term, school term. Right? And then when I was speaking to her, she wanted the schools, children on board. And then we had a discussion about community college.
Right. Maybe actually just started. We're not starting a program in the school. Right. It's across the board on BCC. St. Giles Nursery.
Yeah.
The nursery are last month. Yeah, the first section. Very good. You guys are very, very receptive.
We all didn't hear from me because I want some of them colleges, I want some of them schools. The only thing I got to make sure is that they got the foundation.
My concern is even for competition. My concern really
it's always Venezuela is relatively cheap. So it should be okay for people to go there and live on their salvation here. The issue is when the confidence come here.
But the government is normally support them, so I wouldn't be very concerned with that.
That's my
But the government would normally support them. So, and the thing is that they're happy to come because they get more money when they come. Then if they think, because they get the allowance.